My background is actually in visual effects and special effects, and I started originally way back in the day doing mechanical design work on CAD work. And I found out after a while that doing special effects shots was much more fun than making drawings for things to be built out of sheet metal. So I started learning more about 3D modeling and animation, all the basics, and I got a hold on that stuff, and that kind of led me to compositing and lighting and better materials and better renderers and all the technology. And I'd always been kind of a computer nerd, so I picked up that part of it fairly easy. And I had always kind of drawn and painted and sculpted ever since I was a kid. So all that really kind of came together and meshed really well, and kind of drove me to do what I'm doing now. Bill Schweikert and I have been friends for a couple of years. We worked on a project together that was it was a strange project, to say the least. But we met each other on that, and I kind of see, I was seeing how Bill worked, and how he would set things up and get ready for the next shot, and he'd tear down. And he's really fast at setting shots up and tearing them down, and lighting and everything. I mean, he knows what he's doing, and he's done this for a lot of years, and he really knows cinematography. And because a lot of times with a DP, they're either technical minded or they're art minded, and Bill has the right combination of both. I mean, he's really technical, and he knows if something's not right, he knows why it's not right, he knows how to fix it, but he also has a great eye for like photography and cinematography work. And there was no question. I mean, he was, from the very beginning, he was the guy that I had in mind to use, and I told him that from the get-go, and said, I really want to do this project. Do you want to be a part of it? And he was like, oh, absolutely. Let's do this. He was fired up about it too. So it made it really easy for us to shoot this. And I mean, there's no friction at all between what Bill's doing and what I'm asking of him. When I say, this is the kind of shot I want, I'll describe the shot to him, and he sets up for him. When I look through the viewfinder, 90% of the time it's exactly what I wanted, and we don't have to make any kind of adjustments. And it's really great to have a DP like that, because everything goes so much smoother. And yeah, easy guy to work with. He's super talented. Ed Lima is doing sound and music on the Tesla device, and I've known Ed for 8 or 9 years. We worked on an independent video game together years and years ago, and we flew out to California and met each other at this game conference. And that's the first time we had actually met each other. We've been talking on the internet and email and stuff before that. And Ed is the music guy, obviously, and I play guitar, so we hit it off, talking about like 80s rock bands and and movies and stuff like that. So we immediately hit it off together, and we stayed in contact with each other through like email and instant messenger this whole time. And we'd always said, let's do a project. We need to do some kind of project together that's not someone else's, but it's one of our ideas. So when I came up with this, I've been telling Ed about it all along, kind of asking him questions, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? So he was kind of in it from the conception, just because I talked to him kind of regular on the internet. And so, I mean, Ed was just the default guy to go to for any kind of sound and music. And Ed has a talent of, like, I'm more visual minded, so like when I think of things, I can kind of see the shot in my head, and Ed has the same ability to do that. But it's like, if you describe something to Ed, he knows exactly like what instruments need to be in that piece to achieve the desired effect, and even like time periods and setting moods and stuff. And I mean, I can tell him this is the scene, and he'll send me some file to listen to, and it's like exactly what it sounds like, what the scene looks like, if that makes sense. And I mean, he's a really gifted guy. He's good to work with, and I mean, I was really fortunate to have Bill and Ed working on this project, because it's really gratifying to me to know that these guys trust me enough and have enough confidence in me and the story that I'm pushing out to want to be part of the project. And I got two of the best guys that I could get to do this project with. I mean, they were my top picks to to work with, and both of them immediately said, "Yeah, let's do it." So that was awesome. Toby Sales did Faraday's makeup, and I've done special effects before, and I've called Toby and asked him a couple of questions, and he lives in Atlanta, so we're not really that far apart. You know, and I've called him on the phone. You know, what do you got any suggestions for, you know, how I should do this, or, you know, will this work or this work? And he's always just helped me out. So I knew that I wanted Toby to do makeup effects for Faraday, because I wanted Faraday to be not zombie-like. You know, I think everybody's kind of zombied out. And Faraday's really old, but he's not dead, you know. So basically, I told Toby, make him look old, and I kind of gave him the background of Faraday and who he was and what he was to the story, and then I just told him, I said, you know, just do what you want, just that's the idea, you know, just go with that. And because a lot of times I know I'm this way, and everybody that I've worked with so far is kind of this way. If you deal with creative people, if you just give them room to let them do their thing, most of the time you will get a product back that is better than you had imagined to begin with. So that's what I done with Toby. I just turned him loose and said, you know, just do this, you know, just whatever you want to do, just stay within these rough guidelines and just roll with it. And that's what he did. And I thought Faraday turned out great. It was just the right combination of believable and not over the top. I thought it set really well in the film. Andrea was she has been helping me with stuff on films for a couple of years now. I mean, she's like, I think I done my first live cast on Andy, so she earned points for that. But she helps me with like any kind of special effects makeup stuff. She can basically do it now. You know, she's kind of watched me do stuff enough to where, you know, if I need something done, I can tell her, hey, go mix this, or go do this, and she can go do it. And she does makeup and hair on most of the projects that I worked on, and so she's really gifted at that. And so just about anything I throw at her, she can handle, and she's a real value to have around. I mean, it's not often that you can get somebody that can do that many things and is good at all of them. But Andrew doesn't have a problem with any of it. I've known David Prothro for 10 or 15 years, and we worked at the music store here in town, and I play guitar, so I was in there blowing my paycheck, you know, when I was younger. And Dave's like a big movie nerd, and you know, he draws and paints, you know, very well, and he's really into movies and music and comic book and stuff, just, you know, the same as I am. And so we always talk about, you know, movies or directors, or, you know, what's going on, you know, in this story or that story. So I was always bouncing ideas off of Dave for the Tesla device, and he would come back with, you know, well, maybe you should do this, or maybe you should do that. And a lot of times, I mean, that's what we wound up using. And so he was a great sounding board for, you know, just for ideas, because living in a small town especially, it's hard to find people that you can sit down and have a conversation about a imaginary device that was built by a dead inventor. If you look around in some of the shots in the lab, there are these giant glass test tubes. I mean, not test tubes, vacuum tubes, and they're actually from X-ray machines. And Andrea's dad repairs X-ray machines, and I went over his house and got this barn, like, with all this stuff in it. And I opened the door up, and it's like, you know, here's the lab for your Tesla movie, you know. So that was great fun. The photo wall was actually I just threw all that stuff in Photoshop and just turned it out. I mean, it just took a couple hours to do that. And then we took it down to the printer down the street and had it printed up, and then I brought it back and I tea stained it. You know, I just kind of stained it, just gave a brown tint to it, and I tore some of them up and ripped some of them up, and, you know, wrinkled them and burnt some of them, just so they looked, you know, weathered. And if you look really close on, as the camera goes by that wall with all those photos on it, everybody that worked on the film, their name is in there somewhere. Like I actually wrote it on there somewhere, but you have to look close to find it, but everybody's name is there.